we're worried about.
You guys got to cut it out. I'm warning you now, all right?
When tough Tony Spilotro issued warnings, people listened. In Las Vegas of the 70s and 80s, Spilotro was a feared presence, the mob ambassador to Nevada, suspected in nearly 24 gangland hits, the leader of a burglary and extortion ring later known as the Hole in the Wall Gang, and the man who protected the flow of the skim from mob-tainted casinos back to the mafia bosses in the Midwest. During the 70s, Spilotro's muscle protected the skim as it poured out of casinos owned by mob frontman Alan Glick and operated by Spilotro's pal, Frank Lefty Rosenthal. Glick and Rosenthal were forced out of gaming, but the skimming continued. And that's when Joe Yablonsky came to town, hand-picked for the job of finally cleaning the mob out of Las Vegas.
I certainly did not think that everybody was a crook in Las Vegas. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Retired and living in Florida today, Joe Yablonsky remains sensitive to the charge that he came to town with an agenda. Going after organized crime was a top priority back then, he says, but in Las Vegas he found there remained a lot of loyalty to mobsters. The town revered such men as Mo Dalitz and Benny Binion, despite their status as longtime organized crime associates. It was tough to get a handle on Las Vegas.
You could be scorned for being seen with an FBI agent having lunch, and at the same time your prestige would be enhanced by having lunch with a Spilotro type.
Yablonsky was a cigar-chomping hotshot, nicknamed the King of Sting. He was sent to Las Vegas in part because the local office was underperforming.
There was a certain mistrust of the Las Vegas office, and I think that many of the agents who were assigned to Las Vegas became assimilated and didn't quite see things as they might in some other major city. And they may have believed that Mo Dalitz was the patron saint of the community, when in fact he was one of the founding fathers of the organized crime syndicate.
When Nevada officials gave a gaming license to Al Sachs to take over Alan Glick's tainted casinos, the FBI was amazed. Yablonsky's men began a new skimming investigation. They snapped photos of the skim in progress and made a case that bounced Sachs from gaming and put mafia bosses behind bars. They also busted Spilotro's hole-in-the-wall gang during a burglary, turned one of Spilotro's men into a government witness, and pressed indictments against Tough Tony himself. Spilotro was eventually murdered but was never convicted, in part because witnesses against him kept dying, and in part because of his lawyer, Oscar Goodman. Goodman says he never lost a case put together by Yablonsky. He suspects the FBI wanted to get him, too.
Let's put it this way. They took plenty of shots, but the truth of the matter was I never crossed the line. I was tough. I like to think I was tough. I represented my clients as vigorously as I could, but never violated the law. I think in his mind, in Yablonsky's mind, he had me as some kind of a consigliere rather than as a defense attorney.
He was coming on the CNBC Geraldo program. He had this little plastic rat, and he twisted the head off and said, "This is what we do to rats." And I'm saying, my God, you know, what we do to rats? Why these pronoun we, you know?
Tony, how do you feel about these charges? You have any statement for today, Tony?
No comment.
Here we go. Go to the left, to the right square. Step up.
Yeah, we did jump. Where am I?
I didn't.
No, this way. How do we go?
What do you want to know?
I guess oh my goodness. That's funny. Whatever. I don't know. How we doing? Can we borrow that bike?
Watch your back.
Watch yourself.
Watch your back.
Watch yourself. Watch yourself. You don't get hit by a car.
Step up.
That's all.
I think they run out.
That's right. Trying to make this gas, baby.
Can you hear me out there?
Some of the kids are giving us trouble.
You're not missing it.